starting with Matt, going all the way down to Ryan. 4 rounds in the books, super close championship, razor thin margins at the top for Matt and Fredric. But all of you guys had, I would say, unique outcomes to New Jersey. Can maybe each of you kind of unpack how your competition weekend went and some of the standout moments for fans to think about?
Overall, the weekend was great for me in New Jersey, taking over the championship lead. Never going to complain about that. Do feel a little bit bummed because I think we could have maximized the amount of lead that we had leaving that round. But, I mean, Rome stuck it to me. That's just it. I thought after the first battle, one more time or me, and then after the second battle, I was like, man, I don't know, because we're sitting here watching the replay through some people's suite through the tinted glass, but I'm watching the TV and I'm looking and I'm like, I don't know. So, first of all, congrats to him and congrats to Travis for their first podiums and Travis's first win. I mean, incredible, dude. It feels great, no doubt. I'm not bummed out in the slightest about New Jersey, but I definitely thought with going into that battle with Rome, I'm just like, here it is. We're going to start stretching it out. And here I find myself just a few points ahead of Fredric. So if anything, it's going to make for an exciting championship for all of you guys.
Yeah, adding to what Matt said, it was a great event overall for the sport. You know, a couple new guys on the podium there. Really cool to see that. I was talking to Travis after. He was in tears. It was a good show. For us, it wasn't the greatest. I was a little inconsistent, both in qual and in the battles. I think my highlight of the day was taking Odie to one more time, and probably one of the closest, most fun battles I've had throughout my career. I ended up winning that one. Got to Chelsea in top 8, and Chelsea was just a little bit deeper and better than I was. And yeah, we lost out in top 8, lost the lead, but we're still within arm's reach of the championship, and there's still half the season left to really fight for that title.
Yeah, for me, I was just kind of on my own out there. It felt like we same thing, not a great qualifying session. I just kind of played it a little too safe, I guess you could say, and was not really filling all the zones out. But yeah, we got through top 32 with LZ again. That was a pretty gnarly battle. He was really, he had a incomplete on his first, and so the second one was a pretty gnarly chase from him. I was pretty impressed. He was like pushing me all the way through the second turn there. But when we got into top 16, you know, the sun set, the track tightened up, and I thought we needed to put a little more in the car. And so it was just kind of a bad call on my end. We whipped up the car a little too much, and it didn't need it for our battle with Justin. The track tightened up, and I was too far inside of him on the chase position, so just not really filling out those zones. So we got knocked out top 16, but I was very surprised to see that we're still in third, so very happy about that, and just keep on pushing. Like Freddie said, we're only halfway through.
For me, you know, the weekend started off really well. We had a pretty good qualifying session. Felt confident. The car was phenomenal. The team really had it dialed where it was comfortable and fast for me to drive. And you know, went through our top 30 battle and top 32 battle in tandem, and then was up against Sorensen. And on our lead lap, he hit us pretty good and just pushed us into the wall. And that was our top 16 battle. And the car was beyond repair. The boys did as much as they possibly could in the amount of time that we had. So it was a huge bummer because we felt we had a good bracket, and we felt really confident going in that we were going to be, you know, on the podium. So it would have been a really good points paying round for us to get back up in the mix. And it's unfortunate because we got taken out, and there's just no recourse. So it's just kind of move forward, and now we're on the back foot a little bit and just try to keep pushing forward.
Ryan, recount this however you feel, or don't if you don't want to talk about it, but can you tell us like what it's like to be in a wreck like that from a physical perspective? Like, a lot of us are coming off of like a pretty crazy incident at the previous Formula One race where it got really quiet for a while, and on our broadcast when that happened to you, there was an uncomfortable moment of time where there was no audio on the live stream. So the experience for us, I think, was probably way different than what you were experiencing and all the chaos that was going on in the car. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I gotta say, like the crash was pretty hard. I mean, there's way harder crashes that you guys see, our motorsports fans see on a weekly basis in NASCAR and other forms of sports car racing and so on. So it was a good hit, especially for drifting. Rung my bell pretty good. There's in-car footage that we're not going to put out, but it my whole body just kind of, it was pretty good. It rung my bell. I didn't know if I was going to be concussed. It was actually a harder hit than I had in Long Beach in 2019. Was that 2019? Yeah, 2019, where I got a concussion, and it took some time to get over that. But since it was more of a side impact hit, and we have those halo seats, and obviously good Takata 6-point harnesses and everything, and really good safety equipment. I woke up the next day and felt perfectly fine. Just had a stiff neck on one side, and that's to be expected. So overall, I'd say we came out of it pretty unscathed, considering the impact.
Just to cap off New Jersey, I know that you guys have all in your drifting career have kind of been through these phases, but it was certainly interesting to see more of the young up-and-coming privateer guys, get on top of the podium. All of you guys have been through that in your career. You guys are looked at as like the titans now. Like, what do you have to say about what that says about the sport overall, and those two guys doing well that past weekend?
I'll go, I guess. I thought it was great. Obviously, seeing Travis up on the podium, Rome, Chelsea up there as well. But yeah, those two guys getting to the finals and having, like you said, almost a grassroots level, like final battle. You don't really see that too often. Normally it's kind of one guy's kind of running away with the event and gets in against Freddie or someone like that. So it was kind of cool to see, those two guys, putting on a show out there. And you could tell they were just driving with all their heart. It was great for us. GT Radio was ecstatic to get first place, and so that helped us with the tire championship. And so, but as far as just that feeling, you can't describe it. It's just, as you said, he was in tears. When spoke with him. So it's just like it just consumes you. Once you actually get out of the car and realize what just happened.
I think you could almost argue that some of these younger guys coming up and privateers, they almost have to do better than some of the veterans because they may not always have the best equipment. I think even subconsciously that they need to just prove that they're there to stay. And I think they did just that. I know Rome's done a lot of sim drifting. I know there's a lot of new tools that people are using. People are looking at how to set up the cars differently. And I think those two guys doing so well, it adds to the diversity of the whole sport. So it was really cool to see that.
And Matt, you had a first-hand experience with that and what you mentioned when we started. Is your approach different in, say, going up against somebody like Rome than, say, would be Freddie, who you've driven against, many different times and brought to a lot of different outcomes? How does that work from a sports psychology perspective?
You hate to say that you drive different for different people for different battles, but you have to. Some people don't put their car where you expect it to be, and some people, like a lot of the guys up here, you expect that their car is going to be there, you expect that they're going to be on throttle, so you anticipate that, and that's how we get the crazy level of driving that we have. I'm not going to say that I didn't expect that with Rome, but I definitely didn't expect his quality of chases with me, I think is what it is. I knew his leads were good, and I know how well Rome actually drives, but after watching the replay, that's what I was surprised at. And I guess after that, I could have really put a tire on his door here, or transition a little bit tighter, but I gave him a little bit of room because you're not sure what's going to happen. You're not sure, is he going to pick up the throttle or am I going to run into him? So it's a gamble that we take. That's why there's these decel zones, and every single round there's questions and a 15-minute conversation about it in the decel zone area, and it's okay. And you're thinking about that. And when you drive with somebody like these guys up here, I don't know, I just don't quite think about it as much. But what I think what this means for the sport is we haven't even seen the tops, right? Where us guys are maybe going to be phased out here in the next 10 years, and those are the kind of guys who are going to be phased in. So it's exciting to see that we still have that level of driver that hasn't even blossomed into exactly what they're going to be. And it's surprising. It surprised the hell out of me, and I'm sure it surprised you guys, and it's great. We're going to keep pushing. And one other thing too, I drive with Rome a lot. I drive with Rome and Odie on a regular basis at Willow Springs. And I watched that guy from when he first went into Pro 1 to literally beating me going into the Final Four. So that to me makes me real proud because I'm the first guy to give him some tips on his driving, give him some tips on his car setup. And when he got that win, I mean, I just put my hands up like this. That's all I could do. But I'm happy overall that the sport is still creating drivers that can beat any one of us on any day.
Moving into St. Louis, obviously I'm pretty sure it's right to say that this is not a driver favorite track by any extent of the imagination, but certainly there's been a lot of memorable moments that have come out of here in competition. Ryan, you and Fredric were in the finals last year, is that right? Yeah. Give the fans like an understanding of how this track should be driven, how to be successful on this track, and what fans should kind of understand and know about the way that the track is set up.
It's it's cool because it's a road course. We go to so many bank tracks that I really don't even care what the road course layout is anymore, as long as we can get to a road course. But you can drive, you drive the track a little. The track's definitely very technical. It's a little tight. The run up into outer one is very tight, and then trying to stay into outer one really sets you up for now what is outer two, and that transition from the end of outer one to outer two is pretty much making or breaking your run right now, because when you enter into outer two, you got to really be online, and you have to already be eyeing up where outer three is, because it's a very long stretch with a very kind of shallow arc to it. And then you come into outer four, which is on the knuckle of a wall. So it's actually extremely technical. And if you don't get the speed up exiting outer two through outer three and getting around that knuckle to transition to outer four, then it's like your whole run is going to be kind of compromising in all these little areas, just trying to fight your way to get to these outer zones and fill them for the judges and have angle. So it's actually extremely technical, and the beginning of the track pretty much decides what the outcome of the rest of your lap's going to be like.
Yeah, I think it is, like Ryan said, it's great to get to any road course. It's actually really smooth, the pavement's nice, versus some of the tracks that we go to, and, getting the rear tire up on that berm kind of feels cool. So there's little aspects of the track that are, fun and exciting for us as drivers. And then, like he said, the hardest part is really, it is nailing that coming out of outer two, up that stretch, trying to take a little angle out, but not too much when you go through three to get around into four. And now I'm noticing we're going a little quicker coming into four now, so there's more of a braking zone, if you will, because we have about 40 more feet of run up now with the outer two versus being on the inside of that turn. I like the new addition, the outer zone. I just couldn't really stand watching every other battle, someone just center punching that cone and carrying it all the way up the track. It doesn't look great, but and as drivers, we want to be as close as possible to that lead driver, and you'll take hitting a cone versus falling behind if that's what you have to do. And so, but I think this will be a cleaner, better show for the fans.
I'd say this track is very atypical of an FD course. It's very small, very tight. We're at the infield of a big oval. It's quite low grip, especially turn 2 and 3, and we're next to a rental go-kart track. And I kind of feel like it's the same feeling going to a rental go-kart track. It's what it feels like, because it's about threading the needle, trying to find how to really make all these turns kind of work out in harmony. And seriously, we've done well here many years in a row, but every lap out there, I'm still trying to learn it. So it's very, very difficult to get it just right.
Yeah, I think it's actually a difficult track. I think when we all first saw it, and we all first showed up here a couple of years ago, we were like, I could do this in my stock play car or something. And now we're at the level where the cars are so wound up, they're difficult to hold on to. You can get yourself in a dangerous situation, you can drop a tire, the run is all over. So I think a lot of people have the assumption because it's small, it's an easy track. But the way you got to look at it is we're all up against an easy track, and we're all trying to maximize now even a smaller percentage. Where you go back to a track like Long Beach, where it just kind of comes down to who's got the balls to hold it wide open going into zone 2. If you do, you're probably going to do good. Out here, everyone has the courage to drive 100% on this track, so now it really comes down to the team and the grip and the driver maximizing everything out of the car. And that's who usually do well here.
This track has been at the beginning of the season, it's been towards the end of the season, now it's kind of in the middle of the season. Does that make any difference to you guys as drivers when you're thinking about the schedule, how it rolls out? I mean, certainly it's going to be a lot less hot this weekend than it has in other weekends in the past. We go much later into the evening. I know that conditions are important for you guys, so does that play a role at all?
Don't really care about the temperature. Don't really care about when it is in the time of the year. The biggest thing that I was excited about was that we did a bunch of rounds on the East Coast. We stopped here on the way back west. It's a huge savings in fuel and time, and obviously it wears thin on the guys. When we had to come all the way from California all the way here last year, it was rough on everybody, especially the team that's driving the rigs and setting up. It's quite the journey to go there and back. So I'm more than happy just to be able to hit it on the way home and leave the East Coast and start focusing on the West Coast rounds.
Yeah, I'd say that it doesn't matter when this particular event happens, and like Matt said, trying to make it easy for the rolling circus that we are helps a lot. With that said, practice today was pretty darn hot. We're all cooking in the cars, and luckily it's going to get cooler as the weekend progresses. But just hoping that the crazy rain we had here a few years ago is holding out, and we should all be golden.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, going to be warm, but as the guy said, we're all dealing with it. We all got to push through it. As far as when it is in the year, it's, just like what Matt said, logistically, it's, much more forgiving on the guys and, all the teams to be able to hit it on the way back west. And so, for that matter, just basically how it falls in logistically for, like you said, rolling this traveling circus everywhere just makes it a little bit easier, a little smoother for the guys, and we're just happy to be here racing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm East Coast based, so it's been nice to be on the East Coast these last few rounds, and it's nice to cap it off here in St. Louis.
Let's talk about two areas on the track that seem to get a lot of attention. As an outsider, it seems like that the run-up here being short is an extremely important part of the way that you set up your vehicle and how you take your approach against whatever driver. Obviously, we've actually seen a couple cool incidents between you guys a couple of years past, where I think you got the short end of that one, right?
Yeah, well.
So the run-up, I guess, is really, really important. And then the last part of outside zone 3 is the only part that you can overshoot it, or the guy that might be in the chase position might overshoot or go too fast in outside zone 2 and compress too tightly in that last section of the course. Just wonder if you guys can walk through those two sections of the course and the importance as it relates to the way that you set up yourself for competition.
I think the run-up, because it is so short, where you place your car on the track becomes really important. Especially as the grip level increases in the cars, we need more and more room to get the cars in drift and stay in the zone. Outer zone 1 is long, and there's going to be a lot of points on the table there, and you want to stay in the zone. So that run-up is everything, and everyone is doing a million different things, from lighting the tires up from the second they leave the line, going to the left side of the course, and some guys even straight line handbraking in. So that to me it's more difficult in the chase to anticipate what's going to happen. Leave the room that's necessary to leave, but then also be right there as soon as you initiate. I think battles have also been won and lost so many times on the initiation that all of us want to be right there. And then to speak from 2 to 3, I mean, I get it. It's one of those areas in the track where I think we've all been here, where we transition and where we wind up on the inside of the track. And you're like, how did I do that? But you can't see anything, and you have two options. You keep your foot to the floor, Hail Mary transition, pop through the smoke, and you're a hero. You run into them, or I guess 3 options. Or you transition on the inside and then you lose the battle too. So a lot of battles have been won and lost in that last corner. I think we've probably all lost both ways, for sure. And that to me is just it is a very difficult part of the track. And that goes back to, you think this track is easy? Just try following one of a very smoky car out there. Difficult.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities to tap or crash or go off course or tap a wall on the left side or the right side. It's I think it's seriously one of the trickiest tracks we go to.
Yeah, the run-up is tough. I was trying a couple different things today to see how I could, not to say make it easier, but try and make it less difficult to gauge the lead driver and make sure to be on his door, because there is no room to adjust. You just have to shoot out of the hole like a rocket and stay right with them. And it's tough to nail it. And being that the track is so tight and short, if you misjudge that entry, they're off and running. That's how this guy got me last year. Kind of misjudged it, overshot into one a little bit, and he just kind of had the run on me. So it's definitely tricky to get it right, especially right off the line.
Yeah, I think these guys said it already. The only thing to add is there's definitely a couple smoky blind spots that just adds to the difficulty of this track. And guys are throwing up a lot of smoke, and it's definitely going to be something to watch out for out there.
Cool. As we near the close, I think you guys will see the participating in this. We haven't done this before, so I thought this might be kind of interesting. Somebody sent me this. Your predictions for the weekend.
Can we not start with me then? I've said it before. If you don't think that you're going to win, stay in bed. So that's where I'm at.
Are you going to win?
I'm not in bed.
Maybe you will be on Saturday.
So you know what? Not today.
Not today. Yeah. I mean, let's be real. How do you say that? I'm going to try my best, and I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to try to beat everybody, as I always do. Otherwise, I'll stay in bed.
I feel like I'm always quite politically correct when it comes to these kind of things. I'm going to be kind of like what Matt said. I'm going to try my best, do my best. My buddy back home in Norway told me last year, we were up some late night, and he said, Freddie, why don't you just shut up and go out there and say we're going to win? And we won the next round. So, there you have it.
Yeah, fair enough. Obviously, we're going to show up. We're going to do our best. We're going to try our best. No, of course not. Let's see. The new guys got it last round, so it's back to us again, right?
Yeah.
So fair.
Yeah.
I think I'll put some money on Tuerck. See him get second place here a couple times. So.
You got money on him to get second?
No. No, first I'll take second. I'm fine with that. Me and him.
I'm in desperate need of some points, and I didn't show up here to lose, so it's do or die for me. So I'm here to win no matter what.
Actually, one last one that's kind of fun too. It's not about competition. You guys are world travelers. Being around, going on the circus, you learn a lot of the tricks about traveling and stuff like that. What is a secret that you can share to the audience about something cool, a food destination, or something in St. Louis that maybe you don't want to tell those secrets, you want to keep it Anthony Bourdain style, but something cool about St. Louis that you can share?
Me first? I don't remember the name of that barbecue spot downtown. You guys remember?
Yeah, no, I don't know the name, but
Yeah.
we've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the go-to here, so that's like a must for the team every year. Other than that,
I think one of the coolest parts about being here is that we're actually within a very short driving distance to the downtown of a city.
Yeah.
Where usually we're out in the middle of nowhere and stuck at the hotel or whatever the case is. So it's pretty cool for us. We can go and actually cruise downtown and get to explore, and even, during race weekend, which is neat.
and there's actually a lot of
the first pitch a couple years back, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that was pretty exciting. It was down the middle. It wasn't too wild.
Somebody get that. Do we have that on video somewhere?
Probably.
You got
I'll have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Ready? You got anything?
I always travel in from overseas. Anytime I touch down here, I'm always going straight to bed. And then, with the boys on the team, they love their steakhouses, and we've certainly had some good barbecue out here. So I love coming here to the Heartland. People are friendly. Last year we had the Power Week or Power Tour roll through here, and tons of automotive interest here. So it's definitely a cool stop on the tour.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it.